Welcome to Vision Plus.
With health issues because your wife got pancreatitis.
Yeah, pancreatitis. Yeah, that's what she got. Yeah, right. She got that in 2005, and that's where we got some issues that came up in our marriage. Unfortunately, when she got that
she would have to go back and forth to the hospital, and you got 5 little kids to take care of.
We had 5 kids that were small babies at that time, and I was trying to work my career still, a real active career, and take care of the babies, and we had to take care of her health. And she got real sick, and took her going to the hospital several times, maybe 2 times a week, and that lasted over several months. And our marriage, as a result of that, became real stressed out, and it led to some problems, real serious problems.
What were those problems?
Well, one of the biggest problems that is sad to talk about and hurts me to talk about it is, while she had pancreatitis, they did something that they have to do because it's a real painful disease. They put her on pain pills, pain medicine. One of them is one of the most potent pain pills called Dilaudid. It's when people get cancer or life-ending type diseases, and Dilaudid is it's an opiate, a real strong opiate. The Dilaudid was given to her, and she was on it real often. She got addicted to it. And so I basically, saw where she had to have it. It's one of the reasons she kept going into the hospital. And but here's where my life really became messed up. She took it home with her, had lots of it. She got it, in the drawers at home and everywhere you could look. There was that pill laying around our house. Biggest problem in the world. I tried it, and I found that it felt good. It made me feel real good. Pain pills are very addictive. Some of them are worse than others, but this one is extremely addictive. I got into it, got myself addicted to it, and my life became messed up from that point. If I could redo my life, I can reach out to other people, and I'm doing that right now because I know what it can do to people, and I ruined my life right there. Got on that, couldn't get off of it. She was on it, addicted. I was on it, addicted. Taking care of my job was still a part of my life, trying to do that. Take care of the babies. Everything going crazy then. Our marriage fell apart.
What did the kids think? What did they think was going on?
They didn't know what to do. They were little, but they just saw us going crazy, saw me and her stressed out, and saw me trying to work my job, and they were trying to.
Issues with the
well,
children
they just didn't know. They just saw us, our marriage. They didn't understand why we were getting so far apart and yelling at each other and not spending time with each other, and it was just, again, it became so just dysfunctional. Our family did, and my wife and I became. She, after a while, with me being on them, knowing I was getting into her samples, it became just argumentative with me, and finally she just said, "I don't want you around me anymore. I want you out of the house." And I had to move out, and I moved to an apartment and lived there, and I didn't see my children much. And rather than us go to, after we got apart, rather than us kind of go and get marriage counseling for this, after a while she just decided, "I don't want you in my life," and we got a divorce, and it led to that. And
she got off of it.
After a while, she got off. I don't know how she got off, because we didn't talk. She wouldn't even give me any. She went to rehab. I'm thinking that I didn't get the chance to even communicate with her much. She got so angry with me, she just shut the door on me and wouldn't talk to me, wouldn't answer the phone, wouldn't let me come back into our house anymore. And I had to just begin. I was off on my own. That was it. And we had to go to, of course, attorneys, and that became when you're by yourself trying to get attorneys, trying to find money for that, and I was still on pain pills. You know how much it costs for one of those? And I was having to get them. Not only did I run out of the way to get them from her, I was getting them in the drawers, I told you that earlier, from her still in her samples. I had to go buy those things.
Ooh,
and you know how much expense on there is in it? One of those pills, I was paying $25 a pill for those.
Oh my!
And I was having to get like 10 to 15 of those each day.
Wow! Each day.
That's how much money I'd spend on them. Yeah.
Oh.
It was that much of a need for them, though.
And I've heard of that. I had interviewed this one guy who was 55 years old, and he said he took one when he was 12. Somebody got him an opiate, and he said that he never had a day since then, to age 55, that he wasn't on them. But he was able somehow at age 55 to get help enough from rehab that he got off of them and got back with the Lord. And but he said he was able to keep his business.
Yeah.
He got a business
Yeah.
and was able to keep it. But he was still on the same.
See, I kept my business going too. I was a pharmaceutical rep still. For 2 years, I stayed on those things and kept my job with that company.
And they
I was not doing.
suspect-
They didn't suspect me. They just kept me, going. I wasn't doing a very good job. My numbers, as far as my quota attainment and my productivity, was not anywhere near as good. But they didn't suspect it. The way I ended up, I guess everything falling through with my career was one day I was going to Atlanta for a meeting on Interstate 20 in my car, company car. I was doing 70 miles an hour down the interstate, had a seizure, and this was from the pills. Crossed the median after having that seizure, blacking out totally, slammed the car into an 18-wheeler truck coming this direction, and totaled out the company car, and totaled the car. It didn't hurt me. And that's where God interceded. Why I was kept alive, I have no idea. I didn't even have a seatbelt on.
Because
And the car was gone. I mean, the car was totaled out, and you couldn't even, of course, it was just, there was nothing in the world except for God keeping me here for some reason. I don't know why He did. Because I was doing 70 miles per hour.
Exactly this, and bringing your children to the Lord. And
yeah, some reason, again, I have a purpose still here in life, but I don't know why He did. Other than most people would have been killed by that. But here's what happened. The company that I was working with fired me at that point. Went ahead and just said, I don't want you with us anymore. I don't, you total a company car. It's going to be something as a risk for us. And they let me go.
Did they find out you were on the opiate?
No, they still didn't give me a good reason. They didn't find, I don't think, and gave me a verbal, commitment saying that was due to the fact you were on pain pills. They just didn't want me as a risk for insurance purposes, and maybe the chance that it would happen again with you being in our company car. So they just told me that it was time to go. And what I did at that time, though, finally, my mom and dad, after I lost my job, I couldn't find another one. And my finances were going down the tubes because of all the pain pills that I was having to buy. And then I had attorney fees that were coming up due to the fact, I had to get that to represent me through my divorce. I was going into my 401k money big time because of all the expenses I was incurring. I couldn't, I couldn't find a way other than my mom and dad finally just came down there and said, we got to go to rehab. So I went to a 30-day rehab program out in Texas, the best one in the country. It cost $25,000 to go out there for that.
Whoa.
But that was what had to go.
You
what
mean
had to
you
happen.
you got back without them in 30 days?
It took me 30 days
And
of
that's
intense.
all. Usually it's.
That's
I know
what it
this
took for
one
me.
and she had that happen. It took her 3 times at $25,000 a month.
I got
3
lucky.
times.
I got lucky, but it was something that they did a real intense job with me. Did a lot of sit down, just one-on-ones, and they were very aggressive with me about it, and that was a blessing. And God had helped me through that one, and I got out of it and left that place, and that was in '07, June of '07, and haven't touched them since that time.
That's
And that was just
my.
a wonder. But after that time, after I left there, I moved to Columbia, Tennessee, because my world down in that area, in Birmingham area, I didn't have my kids with me anymore. I wasn't married anymore. I had no job down there. Mom and Dad lived in Columbia, Tennessee. I was moved in with them. And I've lived up there for 4 years, lived there 4 years. And then we just moved down here to the Huntsville area about 6 months ago.
Also.
They moved down here with
Why
me
did they
also.
leave
Because
Columbia?
they moved down here primarily because my dad and mom, they've had bad health. They've been in real bad health. Dad's had cancer, mom's had cancer recently. And us living in Columbia wasn't real productive because I was kind of, trying to help take care of their health. But I needed a career to start back again, some way or another. And this area has been known for pretty good opportunities for careers. And they needed somebody to help care for them. My dad's sister lives here in this area, and she's still, available to take care of them now. So she's going to be their caretaker down here now, help with their health,
Well,
and
you're
I can
getting
get me a job. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
so that's kind of
Because with your degree in journalism and your background with pharmaceutical sales, but also public relations with television shows, I mean, you have done some incredible things. There's doors will open.
It's hard, yeah. It's still hard to get jobs. I mean, it's a bad economy. You know, the economy right now is still not good. With me in my background and me out of work for a while, though, you know, showing from 2007 up until right now, I've had some gaps there in my employment. You know, 4 years there, I was living with them. That doesn't look good on your resume. That looks bad. People wonder about that employment
and you just have
issues.
to tell them.
Well, yeah, you got to find a way to explain, but you got to be, you know, you can't mention drugs, of course. That's a very, thing. That'll knock you out immediately. You got to find ways just to say I had to move in when mom and dad do their issues with their health and help with them. And that's true. I help with their health up there. But yeah, if you mention things about being on drugs, you know, that pretty much cuts you right there.
And that's so wrong.
It's a tough time. It is, but it's
when people get off of drugs and they're not going to go back because of they saw what is going on. That's just not fair. In a way, it's not.
It's something that you got to live with, but you hope they'd be at least merciful to you there. But you really, if you're trying to interview for a job right now, as hard as it is to get a job, if you have something on there that painful and that it's just something you can't really mention.
So what would you like to do if you could have your druthers, as we say in Southern Alabama?
Well, I've been in sales for so long. I enjoy sales, but I love TV work too. I did it for so long, and I think I've got some God-given talent in TV, like communication skills. God gave me some ability there, so I enjoy doing that. So I'm open to several options, and whatever God's leading me and giving me, I'll take the blessing of that.
The sales should be something you could get back into, because that's such a desperate need that companies have now.
Well,
I'm
they
thinking
do.
about that.
They do, but it's real. Right now, jobs are hard to find. I did pharmaceutical sales 17 years. You'd say, well, that ought to be easy to get back into. You know, you had a real good job and you were heavily promoted in that area. Why don't you get back in pharmaceutical sales? But you know who they hire for that right now, don't you?
Who? Young women?
Young women.
Oh, young women?
Young women, yeah. They want them at 22, right out of college, because they think the doctor is going to be more motivated when they see reps out in the waiting room. The companies think, well, they don't want to see a guy as much as they do a young lady that comes in there and feeds them lunch. And, that's who they hire. Yeah, my age is, I'm 47 right now. So the companies think about your tenure and who's going to be the better candidate for them as far as what the doctor would want to talk to or see. Most often they'll hire a young lady.
I did not know that.
Oh, that's it.
Well,
Pharmaceutical and the companies now. Pharmaceutical companies aren't doing as well as they used to, as far as making the money they used to make. So it's not gotten as productive.
But how did you get back with God? How did that happen?
Well, that's a good question. I was angry at first, and I was thinking
with God or with everybody?
With everything. I was just saying, why in the world?
You did anger management?
Yeah, I said, why in the world is all this going through my life? What happened? Why? And I didn't understand the whole picture. And I was mad at my wife and couldn't believe why she had done this to me, and just wanted to lash out at her. Felt no opportunity at that time to even go to church. Didn't see where I could get any return on getting close to God, and didn't have a real connection to Him. But
what was the tipping point?
Where it actually had come when I went back to church up in Tennessee, Columbia, with my mom and dad. I decided finally to go with them and to get active in their program up there. And when I went there and I decided, finally God just interceded with me, gave me a clear picture as to what I needed to do, and that was to witness and be a testimony to people that were going through this disease. And I saw where I was having some return on my investment there, that I was seeing I could actually, and God was promoting this, help people instead of me being angry. And I want you to be, he was telling me, a witness, a testimony, an advocate for what I can give you as far as some help to me. And God was helping me with that, and it got easier for me after I saw that I could help. And I had a black boy that was 17 years old at the prison there that I was helping.
But now you didn't actually go to prison
Oh, no. I was going there to help this one little black boy, though. He was in prison, because I saw where I could go to the prisons there, because there were so many people in prison there that were on drugs. And you would be amazed how many people get addicted to drugs.
Oh, yeah.
If you went and took a poll and just checked in on like a congregation at church, for instance, you'd be amazed how many people are on pain pills, opiates. A lot. A lot.
I help out at the Limestone Prison. One of my friends that went to Oxford Graduate School, that we were in class together, he invited me to come for people who are going back into society. And also, no one else would go to the ones that had AIDS, and I didn't mind, because, I mean, wasn't my favorite thing, but he would, they were protected. He would take me in, and they were behind a desk, like a U-shaped desk, and they had us at the lectern. So, but I encourage them to put, and what I want you to do also is to get a tape recorder. They have the ones you can hang on your neck, or or you can just get to go to Walmart and get an old-fashioned tape recorder and tell your story there, that can be transferred into books and tapes, that people can buy that and get it on the internet worldwide. In fact, we're going to do that with your tape, with your testimony, is get it on the internet, so it'll go worldwide, globally. You can help people. We'll get it on YouTube and Facebook and some other things, because it's time now that a lot of people are going to drugs because they can't live with their life. They're so hurt and upset. And so, what are you saying to people? What did you say to the black guy?
Well, I told him first. The first thing he did when I went into the prison, he was only 17. Like I said, his mother had recently died. He lived with his aunt, and his dad was in prison as well at the same time on drugs. So all he did was live with his aunt, and he wouldn't even look at me when I first walked into the prison there. He would just stare at the ground for the first few times. And I kept saying, look at me, look at me. I said, you don't know, I want you to stare at me, look at me. And he wouldn't even raise his head. And I went from the first few times, him not looking at me, and finally I got him to raise his head up, and I said, I want you to look at me, and I want you to understand this. I said, I'm 46 at the time. I said, you're 17. I said, you got a long life ahead of you. I said, I only have, half the time, left here in my life. I said, but you've got to understand this. I said, I have ruined my life on the same things that you're on right now, these drugs. I said, it's absolutely, my marriage has fallen through. My kids right now, I have not seen at the time, and still at this particular point, out of my 5 children right now, 4 of my children, 4 of the 5, I have not seen in 2 years right now. At this point, I have not seen it in 2 years. I said, but I want you to understand this. You've got to realize you've got a long time, still to live. And I want you to, look at this problem now and understand this problem. I said, when you get out of this prison, when you do get out of this prison, you're going back to live in that same neighborhood, and you're going to have to deal with the same peer pressure, with the same opportunities, the same addiction, the same people that are going to be right around you. They're going to be offering you these same drugs. I said, you're going to have it just all over. And you're going to have to fight it. And you're going to have, again, same things, same problems. If you don't get strong and understand this, and don't make an effort right here, I said, you're going to be right in here again in prison. You're never going to get out of this place.
That's what I kept telling them over at Limestone. Don't let me see you back here again.
Yeah, well, it's going to be something he'll fight, the rest of his life, because drugs are that addictive. And the repeat problems, you go to these outpatient rehabs, you go in there, you'll see the same people all the time, same people. They don't get strong and ever find enough will and enough anger and enough,
the Lord wooing them and drawing them.
Yeah, well, Satan's out there, and Satan's going to pull you too back into it.
So what did you do? What was that, as I call it, tipping point? What was that defining moment when you gave your life back to the Lord?
Well, that was, again, when I felt like I was doing enough to help others, and I saw I was getting some help to other people, and I was seeing where now I've got to, really, I'm not on the drugs right now. I'm finally off of the drugs, and I've got to do something to reach out and be a witness and a testimony. And then moving down here and recently getting involved here at Twickenham and seeing where I could be involved with some other strong Christian people. and I've been you know, blessed by having other members at that church. That's been helping me a lot, and I'm still right now, you know, I'm still weak in a lot of ways. I'm not saying at this particular point that I'm 100%, because again, I told you about me not seeing my children, and I still have a lot of hurt, and a lot of, my ex-wife is getting remarried right now, and that's hard, but she's got 4 of the 5 children away from me, and I'm trying my best to work through getting a relationship built back with her where she'll let me have visitation with my children. And I don't know why she won't. I don't know how to accomplish that yet, and I'm not 100% yet.
State of Alabama, unfortunately, they're probably the hardest state in the union for fathers' rights. Fathers' rights are at the bottom of the pool, because the women can almost do anything, like she was on opiates too, and yet she gets to keep the 4 children, and so that law has to be changed, where men have more, where at least they have a 50% chance of getting to see their children, and to not being so hard on them with, when you get another job, she'll probably hit you with child, you know, care, and a lot of the paying of the child support.
Yeah,
and all
child.
that.
I haven't had the money being out of the job. See, that's one of the reasons she didn't let me see him, or the main reason she hasn't let me see him is because me being out of work for so long here, as of the last few years, I haven't had a consistent ability to pay the child support that she wanted. That's why I've not been able to get, you know, visitation.
Right, but that's got to be changed.
It needs to, because there's reasons. I didn't do it intentional. If I had the money, I mean, I would be paying, you know, every cent that I could pay, but I haven't had the money to
When
do
you're
it.
very
Mom
fortunate.
and Dad haven't had the money to help support us with it, so but that needs to change.
But anyway,
Kids need their dad in their life.
So absolutely.
They need a mom and a dad, both still.
They do,
both of them.
and especially girls need their dad. I know, and boys do too, but if you get to the wrong stepfather, horrible things can happen.
Yeah.
I see it all the time with Joyce Meyer and different people on television telling about the stepfather, child abuse, and all that kind of stuff. Well, so anyway, did you start going with your dad and mom to church?
Right, they're now, you know, they weren't there at first. I recently got them to start coming there. So it's been, Mom and Dad are both not real healthy. Dad's, again, going through some real health issues right now, but you know, as of late, I've been getting them to come there too.
Sure.
So I've been there,
But
been a member at
going in
Twickenham for, yeah, they were. They got you know, involved there at the church in Columbia, and they'd been going there. But when we got down here to Huntsville, they hadn't been real active in going. But as of late, they've been going to Twickenham.
Well,
too.
you know, the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go. When he is old, he'll not depart from it. So your mother and daddy trained you right and got you into David Lipscomb, so you could get
we were always
some Christian
raised in the church. We
yes.
were. Our family was always Church of Christ active.
So, well, and it's not so much the importance of what the name is, as Jeff Dowdy says over the building, but that it's your personal relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, I'm a believer in that. Not where you go, but just your relationship with God.
It is, and your prayer and reading the Bible, studying, and saying, okay, God, what do you want me to do today? What is it that's open? How can I build my own life up? So you're right now, let's go back, you've gone through everything, the drugs, the rehab, the big bucks from jobs, and now he's allowing you to learn what it's be like without any money coming in, and having to depend on your mom and dad, who's not that wealthy. They're not. They're
out of income. They're having to borrow money actually from my dad's sister. She's giving them financial help right now, so they don't have money for anything right now. They're broke too. So it's terrible.
But it's not terrible. I think of it like this, in the sense that if you wake up, you've got your health, and you read the obituaries, you're not there, your parents aren't there, and you have the Lord in your life.
Well, that's true.
then that is a good thing,
Mhm.
because he says to trust in the Lord, like we said the other night, trust
Yeah.
in the Lord with all your heart, lean not upon your own understanding.
Right.
God, why are you allowing
Yeah.
this handsome man, as someone at the meeting said, well, he's cute.
Oh, goodness,
It was
no.
funny.
Yes.
Anyway, well, with the name Campbell, our people across the street, their name is Campbell. I call you a Campbellite.
Oh, goodness.
But Van, you've got the idea of, yes, you did some things that are wrong, but God doesn't see. I mean, gossip is worse than drinking and drugs, maybe, you know what? So there's so many people, and we've had at that church people going, you know, so much adultery and different things in all of our lives. It's not just one place, one church. So now you'd like to have a job, because he says, whatever things you desire when you pray, believe that you have them, and you shall have them.
Mhm.
So we've got to just get that belief inside of us,
Right.
and then thank him for the good things. Okay, God, this morning I get up, I feel good,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't feel like I have to have any pain pills today.
Mhm.
This, or the horrible ones anyway.
Mhm.
Because I've had family members to go through this, and I've had family members actually from drugs
Mhm.
have to go to prison, so I can appreciate what people go through. But at
Mhm.
least you didn't have that part.
I didn't have
So
that.
was
No,
good.
I was lucky
That could
not
have
to.
been,
It could have been there because I could have been caught buying the pills
yeah, there you
by
go.
an officer. He could have got me right there, but I was lucky not to get caught.
Yeah,
buying
that's
them.
right. Well, you're ready now. You're like at the bottom, ready to go back up. God
I'm
has
praying for another
and
chance.
telling you, when God closes one door, then he's going to open a bigger door for you
Right.
and a better door for you. And because when it says have faith in God, and it says, and that's like appropriating his faith, and that even this mountain, Mark 11:22-23, will be dissipated and cast into the sea. The mountain of no job, the marriage and your children, and all of the challenges you have, God is going to heal them.
Mhm. You know what was given to me by someone at church yesterday, a really good scripture, because I sometimes now lose some faith and I start to blame and wonder if God, why are you keep penalizing me? Why are you punishing me? I keep wanting to blame now some God in some ways, but James 1 was given to me as a scripture saying God is not ever going to be the one that punishes you, never penalize you. Satan and
That's
some
right.
of the other enemies are the ones
That's
who do that to you, hand that out to you. But God is never going to do that. He's never going to
That's
give
true.
you the penalties.
Absolutely.
But you got to trust
agree.
in God, and it was in James 1, the scripture was given to me, and she said, read that and understand that God's going to always be there for you. You have to realize you're going to have other enemies
Sure.
that are going to still give you, a tug and a pull, and other ones want to pull you and get you away from God as much as they can,
Oh, absolutely.
and make you believe elsewhere in other ways instead of keeping the faith and have
So
trust.
we want to encourage you that if you know anyone that maybe is in sales, that needs a salesperson, a really good salesperson, got many promotions when he was in pharmaceutical sales, but you can transfer that information and those gifts to others, or television. He can also do this, and voiceovers, and whatever is necessary that he can do these. Van Campbell. You're very welcome to call our toll-free number, and we'll get in touch with Van for you. Or do you want to give any emails or
Well,
numbers?
either or. My cell number is 256-289-1134, and my email, I'll give you that too, is Van, V-A-N, Campbell, C-A-M-P-B-E-L-L, and the number 524@yahoo.com.
524.
Right.
Now, Van Campbell, 524@yahoo.com.
That's it.
And we're very happy you joined us today. Bless your heart for watching.